Hello, I'm Belle, and this is the second session of my three-part presentation. I want to thank Dr. Abraham, for the director of the Doctoral Scholars Program, for providing me and giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. For those who've attended the Institute over a number of years, one of the sessions that we conduct is called A Conversation with the Elders. Today, this is not a conversation. I'm just sharing some thoughts with you. And I hope that it might be helpful to you in this time that we're dealing with. I welcome any feedback or from you regarding my presentation. My email address is bob.bell@sreb.org. And good, bad, or indifferent, I learn just like you. In my first session, I titled A Call to the Ancestors. And I ended that presentation by quoting the character Senku in the film Amistad. John Quincy Adams, Senku's attorney, asked Senku this very poignant question: what are we to do? Senku responds by saying, "We won't be going in there alone. I mean my ancestors. I will call into the past, far back from the beginning of time, and beg them to come and help me. I will reach back and draw them into me, and they must come. For at this moment, I am the whole reason they have existed at all." I've titled this presentation, Family Matters. Family Matters. As I comment to you, I feel somewhat inadequate because of the seriousness of the time. It's like a coach who has a team and you're getting ready to play a game, and you know that the other team is far superior to you. They have more talent, they have more experience, but you have to play the game. I know that we're living in some perilous times. And for some of you, this virus has hit home, right in your gut. Perhaps a spouse, a parent, a sibling, a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, a cousin, a friend, a peer has been affected. It's a friend of mine that's been on a ventilator for 2 weeks. Hit you right in the gut. These people may be in your residence or in your hometown or in another town or even another state. This virus knows no borders and no boundaries. This virus has no respect for anybody. You are coping the best way that you know how. So am I. Guess what, sports fans? All of us, no matter who, we are all coping as best we can. No one who is living today has ever experienced this before. Now, let me make this very, very plain and be very honest. As they might say in the street, all of us are making this up as we go. We're making this stuff up. Everybody, from the leaders of the country, the state, the city, your institution, Everyone. No one has a magic wand on how to fix this. Okay? No one. Let me share with you a quick and personal story. Since 1976, members from my mother's side of the family have gathered and convened every 2 years for a family reunion. Many of you have had attend your own family reunions. The recorded beginnings of my family tree starts in the year 1790, when the institution of slavery was a major part of the fabric of this country. Now, the DNA analysis of my family reveals that 80% of the members of my family came from the west coast of Africa: Cameroon, Congo, Southern Bantu, and Nigeria. I'm keenly aware that I, Bob Belle, I'm only 5 generations from the time when slavery was practiced in this country. I look at my tree and I know where I am in that lineage. So when I heard the comments by Sin-Q in the film Amistad, I kind of reflected on the situation that we face today. To be sure, members of my family in the 1700s, 1800s, and 1900s had a much harsher life than me. They endured slavery, Jim Crow, overt racism, I mean in your face racism, discrimination, lynchings. From 1929 to 1941, the Great Depression, lack of sufficient health care, world wars. I was born during the latter part of World War II. Lack of access to quality education, assassination of leaders, riots in urban cities, corruption at the highest level in our national government, civil and voting rights struggles, and 9/11. And still, my family and members of your family, they persisted. Family does matter. I'm very proud of the fact that on December 22nd, 1950, a case was filed in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of South Carolina, Charleston Division. The number is Civil Action number 2657. You can look it up. A member of my family named Gardenia Stooks and her husband and their children were one of 20 families who filed suit against a segregated school in Clarendon County in South Carolina in the case called Briggs versus Elliott. This case was the first case in the 20th century to challenge the constitutionality of racial segregated schools. This case was grouped together with others to become the NAACP, it was grouped together by the NAACP to become the Brown versus Board of Education 1954 Supreme Court desegregation case. Thank you, family member Gardenia Stooks. Family matters. So in this current environment, I accept the fact that I can't control this virus. I know there is no cure. I know there is no vaccine. Now I can do the things that can go a long way to perhaps put me in a position not to be exposed. I'm not going to list them, you know what they are. So I take in my heart and my intellectual approach. I, like Sin-Q, look back. I look back at my family and know that family does matter. Currently, we are experiencing inconveniences. Sheltering in, not being able to go to a movie, a restaurant, a nightclub, the park, a concert, a play, the museum, the beach, school, even church. Shake hands, give a hug. These are inconveniences. And when this is over, and it will be over, I don't know when, there will be in place new behaviors that will become normal. Let me remind you, before 9/11 at airports, there were no body scans, screening bags, sitting down during takeoffs, landing. The plane cockpit was open. Not now, limiting the liquids that you could carry on in your bags. German Shepherd dogs patrolling the airport hallways and military-like security with high-powered weapons patrolling the airport hallways. These are normal behaviors in our airport. I went to the supermarket the other morning. There was a line outside and they were spaced 6 feet apart, but they were staggering people going into the supermarket. 5 out, 5 in. 5 out, 5 in. When I got to the register, there was a plastic plate in front of the cashier to prevent anything when I'm speaking, anything to get on that cashier. That's new normals. So when I look back at the hardships that my family had to endure, the inconveniences that I'm having to endure are pale compared to what they had to face. So I've adopted this process and other things to help me deal with this, even though I'm many years older than you. Many years older than most of you that are viewing this. Let me assure you and say to you this. This too shall pass. So I end today as I did at the last session. I will call into the past, far back to the beginning of time, and beg them to come and help me. I will reach back and draw them into me. They must come. For at this moment, I and you are the whole reason they have existed at all. A call to the ancestors. Family matters. So in this moment in time, with what we are confronting, think about it. The title of my third and final presentation is Survive and Move On. Thank you. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe.